Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo doing another video on a couple of reels that I've been using for about a month or two. Well, just this reel in particular, which is the Zebco Micro 33. This is its bigger cousin, just as a demonstration to show you the size comparison of the two 33s. I know it's like night and day, look how tiny this one is compared to this one. But it doesn't take away from its overall performance as the original Zebco 33, which is made for bass and 10-pound test. Okay folks, this is the Micro 33. It comes spooled with 4-pound Cajun line already. It is 4 6-to-1 gear ratio. It's a little bit higher than the 3 6-to-1 gear ratio on the other 33 Classic Authentic. They do make this in a Bill Dance version and a gold spin cast version. So what this is a spin cast reel. I think this one's a lot better and well made than some of the cheaper competitors micro reels on the market. It's just basically a rebranded Zebco 11. If you remember anything about a Zebco 11, you can check those out. It has these vent holes in it, so it spews out the water a lot better. It has a graphite center body and 2 steel cover and base plate for the rear of the reel. It does have a nice little crank handle as well. Being 4 to gear 1 ratio, it's pretty slow. It's a little crunchy. You're going to get a little crunchiness out of it, but it is a Zebco after all. Spin cast reel, enclosed reel, push button reel. It goes by many names. A lot of the big name YouTube fishermen will not tell you this is a good reel. I find this reel is a highly valuable tool for fishing for trout and small fish in creeks. You really don't need much for freshwater fishing. A reel with 1 ball bearing and bushings will get it done. You could use the natural current of the creek to run inline spinners really good. But when you're trying to use this for inline spinners and small jig fishing, it just doesn't have that retrieval rate that you want with a spinning reel in a lake. But it still works in a lake, but not as good with inline spinners in a lake or crankbaits or road runners like that for this type of reel. I would recommend you to replace the 4-pound test that comes with it with something a little bit thicker, because sometimes when you're fishing in these small creeks, you will run into smallmouth bass. I find that if you put a little bit thicker line on this when you're fishing in creeks, because I've had good sized smallmouth break 4-pound tests like butter, so you might want to put a little bit more stronger line on this, maybe 12-pound braid or maybe 6-pound test, because 4-pound test just won't cut it in these small creeks when you're catching these trout, because you know a smallmouth hits harder than a trout does when they first strike, and they run like crazy and jump out of the water, which can damage your line a lot. But I recommend you use monofilament with these reels over braid, because braid will wear out the spool over time, like right here. It will wear out the spool around the eye right here with braid and leave a small cut in the reel, and that will get your line stuck in there and fray out the line. So try to stick with using fluorocarbon or and monofilament with these type of reels. Now if you want to take the spool off in case you get the line stuck underneath it, plus these newer reels have this really excellent backlash break, which keeps the line from going underneath it. And if you want to take this off, all you got to do is hold the handle and twist it counterclockwise to take the spool off. If you want to take this reel totally apart for maintenance, you could take this little clasp off, and it comes off really easy to take it apart. Once you take that off, you can take the spool off, take out the drag, and then pull the whole reel apart. We're not going to do that, but you know, if you're just wanting to maintenance this to get the dirt out underneath the spool, spray it with WD-40 to clean the inside out. That's basically the only maintenance you need to do on around the spool of the reel. To put this back on, you just do it the same way you put it on. You twist it counterclockwise, hold the handle down. There you go. Push the button down to put the cover back on, like so. If you want to swap out this handle to right to left, all you got to do is take a small screwdriver and unscrew it, or use a coin or whatever to unscrew this handle, and then switch it left to right. You want to get to the gears for maintenance. You have to take a small screwdriver, pull off the back plate, take off the trigger, and right there you'll see this has helical gears. It's different than a Zebco 202. Zebco 202 has a gear-on-gear system with no ball bearing, and it's usually side to side, where this one here is a helical gear system, which makes this reel going to be a lot smoother than using a 202. And if you want to maintenance this reel every year, and instead of having to tear it down every year, you just take a little bit of whatever type of oil or Vaseline, and you want to oil these points here and here, and in the center of the reel down there, you just want to drip a drop of oil on that ball bearing to keep it from getting seized. Like one drop there, one drop here, one drop here on the bushings, and Bob's your uncle. That's as much maintenance as you need to do every year on this reel. Unless the reel is extremely crunchy, you put it back together, you put the trigger back there, and then put the base plate back on it, like so. Should just snap in place, and there you go, folks. That's how you take it apart and put it back together and service the reel. I mean, if you really want to get into a detailed service on this reel, you'll have to tear the whole reel down and clean the old grease off of it. I wouldn't recommend you doing that after using it a few years. Maybe like 2 or 3 years to do that, but every year you don't really need to do that. Just drop some oil on it to keep the gears from being seized, and that's pretty much it. I like the double handle crank on this, but for a month of using this, I think it's a very spectacular reel. It works great. You know, it's ups and downs. This is not very fast in retrieval in lakes. It's not great in lakes, but it works great in streams and rivers. You can cast it very far distances with lures. It can handle just about any type of lure for small fishing, bobber, jig fishing. You know, it's really good for that. But it has a low retrieval rate, 4:6 to 1 gear ratio, but it's not bad for a 1 ball bearing reel. It's a good reel for a first-time fisherman or just a novice fisherman, or somebody just a weekend Joe fisherman that wants to take a reel out and not have to worry about a bunch of line twist or a bunch of backlashing with a bait caster and spinning reel. I've gotten 0 line twist in this in the whole month I've been using it, and I've caught 2-3 pound trout, you know, 16-17 ounce panfish, no problem, all day long. I use my other Zebco authentic rod for this combo. You can use pretty much any small bait caster, like the Durango, the Hot Cast, Zebco rods, light medium action bait casters. You can use Mr. Crappie, BSA rods, you know, stuff like that for this micro reel. Works really good. Highly recommend the Zebco Micro 33 reel. Works really good. Fantastic little reel. It's tough as nails. I think it's one of the best trout fishing reels I own, and I own like 3 spinning reels. 2 spinning reels I use for catching trout. This is my most favorite, or I use this one right here for catching trout with bait. I've used this for bait fishing as well with the bait alert. It works great, smooth. No complaints out of it really. I think it's really a great reel for the price of $12. Highly recommend you get this, and it works a lot better for trout fishing than some of my spinning reels do. Easy to maintenance as well every year if you need to with this reel compared to a spinning reel. I hope you all liked the video on the Zebco Micro 33. It's a really good reel. Highly recommend it for fishing for small fish like panfish or trout. I got no complaints. Y'all take it easy. This has been your old pal from Hillbilly Tactical, Andrew Hondo. You put God first. He puts you first every time. You know what, YouTube? God loves you. So does your old boy Hondo. Peace out.
Tell me pretty lies. Look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.